guys, this is Martin Perdomo, the Elite Strategist, and you're listening to Latinos in Real Estate Investing Podcast. And today I want to share with you how to live into your greatness. Okay, guys, I want to give you the four-step process of how to live into your greatness, guys. So I know that this is a real estate investing podcast, and this is supposed to be all about real estate. But the secret to this is actually lays within. Your gold is within. Okay. Your power is inside of you. Your power to manifest, your power to create, your power, believe it or not, is in what you believe, is in clearing out your limiting beliefs, is dealing with your stories in your heads and your preconceived the way you were conditioned as a kid. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's just suppose that you grew up in a household, right? Like me. I'm going to suppose me. I'm going to use myself as an example here. I grew up in a household listening to and hearing that rich people were bad and that rich people lived in these great big houses and we were living in the ghetto. Then they employed us and they used us and they had these great big houses while we were here in the poor as poor people in the ghetto. And let me tell you, there could not be such a bigger lie to that. But that's what I grew up listening to, right? And I reject that for you and for myself, by the way. I reject that type of belief. Okay. So what happens is when you grow up listening to this type of conditioning, and this is what you're picking up from your parents and the people around you, right? And now you become an adult, right? What happens is there's something called the unconscious mind, right? Which is what keeps your heartbeat beating 100,000 beats per day. It's your unconscious mind that when you raise your hand, for instance, when you raise your right hand, it sends a signal to 171 muscles for that hand to be raised. So what happens is that conditioning is back there in your unconscious mind as an adult. And now you want to make money, you want to earn money, you want to have nice things, and you take 5 steps forward, and then unconsciously you realize that, hey, rich people are bad. I don't want to be rich. Rich people are bad. So you self-sabotage. Can you relate to that? Is that you? Well, I can tell you that was me. Right? You're not being pulled. You're being pulled. Right? So let me share what happened to me when I was 24. When I was 24 years old, I earned for the very first time 6 figures. I earned my very first 100,000. I earned it at the age of 24. And why did I earn that? What happened was I was sick and tired of being broke. I was selling insurance. I was selling life insurance for a Fortune 500 company. This guy came to work in the company and he was lighting us up. I mean, I was making at the time, I had 4 kids. Yep, at 24, I had 3 kids. My wife was pregnant with the 4th. Excuse me. Wife was pregnant with the 4th. And I was making $50,000 a year. And this guy came on and he was lighting it up, guys. I was making $50,000 a year with 3 kids and a house, guys. That is not a lot of money. That is poverty. I was struggling. This guy came on and he was writing $70,000 per month, selling the same exact product in the same exact company in the same exact city in New York City. We were selling, everything was the same. But what was he doing that I wasn't? What did he know that I didn't? And one day we're at this sales meeting and our general manager has him speaking, talking about what he's doing and things like that. And guys, I was so freaking tired of being broke. I was just exhausted. Being broke sucks, right? I was so freaking exhausted of that crap that I finally decided at the end of that meeting, we went back to the office and I pulled him to the side and I said, hey, Harry, man, I got a question for you, brother. How are you doing that, man? How are you doing that? Like, I put my ego to the side. I put everything to the side. I said, Harry, how are you doing that? How are you doing that, man? What are you doing that I'm not doing, man? I really want to succeed. I really do. I just don't understand what's going on. And he said to me, you really want to know? I said, yeah, Harry. He says, you really want to know or you just asking? And I said, no, Harry, I really want to know. And he said, it's your mindset. He said, it's your mindset. And he said to me, I want you to go pick up this book. We had about an hour. He mentored me for about an hour. That was the beginning for me. That was just when he opened me up. He mentored me for about an hour. And he said, go and buy this book. And I'm going to tell you to go buy this book. If you are that young person or that young man that I was, that I just described to you, if you're sick and tired of being broke, you're absolutely just done with being broke, you need to pick up this book and you need to go apply the principles. He says, go pick up this book and devour it. And that's exactly what I did. The name of the book is um, The Magic of Thinking Big. And I know, listen, guys, guys, I know this is woo woo. I know this is woo woo, but let me tell you what I am. I am a practical woo wooist. If it works, then I apply it. If it doesn't work, then I'm out. Right? That's what I am. I'm a practical woo wooist. So I jumped on the train. We were on 42nd Street and 3rd Avenue, down there in downtown New York City. I jumped on the train, went to an old Barnes and Noble, picked up the book, and I devoured that book, guys. I devoured that book. My dream at the time, my dream was to make $100,000. Like that was That was it, guys. I was 20. The time I read the book, I was 23. Well, I'm 24. That was it. And guys, in 12 months from the day I read that book and applied the principles, not just read the book, I applied the principles. The day I read that book and applied the principles, the very next year I earned $104,000. And here's what happened to me. Because I hadn't worked on myself. So I started, that was just the beginning. I hadn't worked on myself in terms of dealing with my limiting beliefs and the stuff that I picked up as my conditioning. I felt rich. Right? I felt rich and I had surplus income. Now I wasn't in trouble. I remember breaking my kids' piggy banks just to pay the freaking mortgage, guys. Just to pay the mortgage. I was breaking the kids' piggy banks. And at this point, I was no longer broke, right? $100,000. I was feeling rich. My wife and I, 2 kids, we were feeling rich. What did we do? We went and we spent the money, right? What the middle America does is, as their income rises, so does their expenses. We went and we got more into debt, more into things. That's self-sabotaging. That's an example of self-sabotaging, right? And we made more money and we got more debt. So in reality, nothing changed for us. We were poor. We were still poor. We were high income. We were poor, high income earners, right? Wealthy people keep their as their income goes up, they keep their expenses straight. And then you get to the point where you can decide, hey, I'm going to buy a boat, I'm going to buy these things, and now I'm completely free to do whatever I want, right? So anyways, what happens is unconsciously you self-sabotage, you do things to go back, right? So what motivated me at that time was the pain of being poor. I was sick and tired of being broke. So now you make money and now you lose that motivation. This all happens unconsciously, by the way. You lose that motivation and now you start to do things to self-sabotage. All this happens unconsciously. You self-sabotage to get that motivation back. Can you relate? Right? So you make bad decisions, you buy the wrong things, you get into debt, you don't invest, you stop reading. Hey, this was all me. By the way, this is all me. I'm talking about me. I stopped reading. I thought that I can turn it on and off. I thought that it was like a spigot to me because I have this natural talent to relate to people and be around people. And I thought that I can just turn it on and off. And guys, let me tell you something. When you are in sales, and by the way, all of us are in sales one way or another, especially if you're in real estate, you're in business, you're in sales, right? Every day, every week, I'm selling my team, my salespeople, my admin people, everyone, and why they got to keep working with me. I'm selling them on my vision. I'm selling them on the opportunity every day. And why they should be working with me. And because I thought that I had this natural ability, which I do have this natural ability to deal with people, I thought that I can turn it on and off. And let me tell you something, guys, you cannot turn it on and off. There's something called momentum, the big mo. Once you get big mo, right? And you stop because of this unconscious thing that you have, that you're like, okay, I now have this money. I made 10 grand today. So I'm going to go and spend it with my wife and be with the kids and just and lay off of work for a little bit, and you go and you spend it, and then you think that you're going to just come right back and say to to your business, or to your sales, or whatever it is that you do. You think you're going to take your focus away from that, and you're going to turn it right back on. Let me tell you something, my friend. It does not work like that. It takes, I tell my salespeople, when you lose a week, when you go away on vacation for a week in sales, you lose 3 weeks total. The week you're gone, and the 2 weeks it takes you to get things going again, to get your pipeline again, to get in the groove of things again. This is what happens. So I'm going to tell you that in order to succeed, you got to work on yourself. All right. You got to do the work. You got to read. You got to uncover your limiting beliefs. You got to uncover what your conditioning is. And I'm going to tell you some of the ways that you do that is by surrounding yourself with people who you listen to, who you watch on YouTube, or if you're watching me on YouTube, or if you're listening to this podcast, who you're listening to and who you're hanging with, right? Those are the things. Who you're listening to, who you're hanging with, guys. That's going to tell me a lot. That's going to determine a lot about of your success, what you do, where you go, how far you go. Man, I got to tell you guys, I would not have dreamed when I was in high school, a C student, D student, barely passing grade, passing my classes by the skin of my teeth, that I would be where I am today. I'd never dreamed that. But I made a commitment. I decided, I committed, and I took action. And I'm going to challenge you that as I share these 4 things with you, that for you to decide, commit and take action. Okay. The first thing is awareness. And I just did a whole thing. I just talked to you a whole bunch I just gave you a whole big list of things on awareness. Why you should, awareness is you need to gain awareness of where and how, where your particular illusions are. So what are your beliefs? What is your illusion? Right? You need to gain awareness of what you believe. And is it the right thinking? You need to question that thinking. What does this mean? And am I where I want to be? And is this thinking that I currently have, this belief system that I currently have, this story that I keep telling myself, is it going to take me to where I want to be? Right? Is it going to take you to where you're going to be? Number 2 is acceptance. Right? It says calmly accept and appreciate what's here and now. The present is perfect. I'm going to tell you that one of the things that has helped me greatly with this is meditation. Again, I'm a practical woo-wooist. Meditation is known to develop your prefrontal cortex, and your prefrontal cortex is when you have teenagers and kids have underdeveloped prefrontal cortex, and therefore that's why if you have any teenagers, you wonder why they make the decisions they make and why they do the things they do, and you're like, what the hell are you thinking, kid? Right? And the reason is because they have an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. And meditation is known to, studies have been made that meditation is known to help you develop your prefrontal cortex and mature your prefrontal cortex, right? So number 2 is acceptance. Accept calmly and appreciate what's here and now. The present is perfect, right? Number 3 is consistent action. I talked about action. I read that book, and I went and I freaking gobbled that book up. I remember a story in that book, guys, and it was a man that was feeling bad for himself. He was in his head. He was in his story, in his negative story. He was in his head about whatever it was. I can't remember exactly until. I remember. It was this man that didn't have any shoes. He was walking down the street and he didn't have any shoes until he saw a man walking down the street that didn't have any feet. That gives you perspective, doesn't it? Right? He was feeling sorry for himself because he didn't have any shoes. He saw a homeless man that didn't have any feet. Perspective, right? Perspective. That's called a reframe. Learn to reframe yourself. Learn to look for the good in everything. Learn. Napoleon Hill says, in every adversity lies an equal to or better than opportunity. Right? Where is my opportunity here? Where is my lesson? What else could this mean? Right? Learn to ask better questions and you'll get better results. Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life is in the quality of the questions you ask yourself. The quality of your life is in the quality of the questions you ask yourself. Learn to get out of your head and ask better quality questions. Get in your body. When you're moving your body, you can't feel depressed. Right? We've talked about that in some of my other episodes. And number 4 is be authentic. Living into greatness means showing up as one's authentic self. Be yourself, right? Who are you being around different people? Are you 100% who you are everywhere you go, right? Or are you a different person when you're here, when you're there, when you're here, when you're there, right? One of the things I found with some of the most successful people that I am around and I hang out with is that they are authentic, 100% authentic to themselves. They always keep it real. They always keep it 100 to who they are at all times. And man, that has been a lesson. I remember, I'm gonna share this last story with you, and I'm gonna wrap it up with this. I remember when I first got interviewed. So picture me, a 19-year-old kid, and I was working at a Bed Bath and Beyond. I was working in retail. My wife was pregnant with our second kid, and I had gotten this great opportunity to sell life insurance. And I remember the day I went in and I interviewed with my manager at the time, Anthony. And Anthony said to me, I passed it was an aptitude test, and I scored off the rockers, right? I'm a natural with people. I just scored off the freaking rockers. Like, dude, I'm born for sales, right? And he tells me, he's like, you this is how this works. So now he's selling me on the job, right? Because he realized I got the natural talent and he could work with me. He's selling me on the job. He's like, look, this is a job. You're going to sell insurance. Again, I'm an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, uneducated kid. I was 18 years old, going 19 at this time. Uneducated kid, no college, no nothing. And he's like, you're going to, if you sell a policy, and he's showing me the breakdown, if it's $80 a month, you're going to make $500 in commission. And I lit up. Because at that point, my biggest like vision, my biggest dream at that point was, if I could make $500 a week, I could support my girlfriend, my kids, and like, I'm set. I could pay for my apartment. I'm set, right? That was, and I stopped him and I said, wait a minute, Anthony, you mean to tell me that you're going to teach me how to do this? You're going to teach me how to sell this? And he said, yep. And I could sell that, and I could make $500 every time, as many times, and you're not going to cap me, as many times as I can. He said, yep. And I was like, where do I sign? I was ready to go, right? Like, I am a sales manager's dream, right? That is my dream freaking salesperson too, right? That's what I wanted. I was like, let's go, man. I'm ready to freaking run with this thing. And then I went to interview with the big boss, the associate general manager at the time. And he said to Anthony, he says, this kid, he might have scored high here, but this kid doesn't speak proper English. Said this kid doesn't speak proper English. Remember, guys, I'm straight from the ghetto, straight from the hood. Right? No formal education, barely passed high school, fresh out of high school, barely, I don't know. All I had was a dream. All I had was a dream. All I had was a desire. All I had was, I want to do better. I was not born to be poor. And today, I'm going to challenge you, my friends, to take action, whatever your dream is. And that is, it means start working on yourself. Guys, start working on you. The biggest investment you make is not in real estate, is not in a property, is not in stocks, is not in a business. It's in yourself. Invest in yourself, right? Go pick up a book, listen to podcasts like this, listen to podcasts of others, listen to smarter people, put yourself around successful people. If you're listening to this, I suppose, or if you're watching this video, right, I suppose it's because you want to invest in real estate. You're investing in real estate. Go and put yourself around real estate investors. Go and put yourself around the energy of the people you want to become. Go and ask questions. Go and be around them. Go and ask them what they think. Go and ask them what's their ritual. Go and ask them, what are you reading? Go and ask them, where do you hang? Right? Because the fastest route from point A to point B is a straight line. Go figure out how they did it and go model it. That's what I did with Harry when he told me to go read this book. And that was the beginning of my journey. Guys, thank you for watching. Appreciate you. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to ask you to please give us a thumbs up. Really, really helps with the algorithm, guys, please. And if you're listening, share this with a friend, share this with someone that needs to listen to this, and go pick up that book. If you haven't read any book, hey, listen, if you're not a reader, right, go listen to it on Audible. Go pick it up. Go listen to something. Go and start working on yourself. Go start investing in yourself, guys. Again, give us a thumbs up downstairs if you are watching this on YouTube, and if you're listening, appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace out.